Alright, so Eagles rookie minicamp is now over, and a lot of the Birds' newest additions shine during their first practices with the team, including the Birds' first-round pick Quinyon Mitchell, who Nick Sirianni said was already making nice plays, and Cooper DeJean, who was already being used all over the field. Meanwhile, a few of the Eagles rooks are learning from the vets, and that includes the Birds' newest center, taking pointers from Kelce, while Jordan Mailata has already become a mentor for a former rugby player that just signed with the Birds. Plus, could 5th-round guard Trevor Keegan actually have a shot to start this year? And hear what Howie Roseman had to say about his decision to sign Saquon Barkley, as he outlined the Birds' strategy to get an edge on the rest of the NFL. So let's talk about all of it, and we won't waste any time, let's get straight into it. Okay, so let's start off with the GOAT, as the roast of Tom Brady happened over the weekend, and during the event, Brady himself actually got the chance to do some roasting of his own, and he decided that he was going to take a shot at Eagles fans.
Philly fans are just racist assholes. But Kevin Hart is from there, so I get it. Yeah, you, Kevin. In Philly, they have to grease up the light poles so people don't climb them after games. You know how they grease up those poles? They rub someone from Philadelphia on them.
Look, I actually don't hate Tom like I used to. And yes, this is a roast, so obviously the entire point of it is to roast other people. So I'm not going to care about him bashing Philly fans the way he did, but all I'm going to say is that I'm sure he still does have nightmares of Nick Foles till this day. But now, fast forward to the present and this current Eagles team, and we recently just got to see them having fun during the offseason, as a lot of the guys participated in a home run derby to support the American Heart Association, and let's just say that some performances were better than others.
Why is it so hard? I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, honestly, I would be right there with you, Landon. But while it was fun to see the Eagles having some fun doing this, that does not mean that they're still not working super hard to prepare for the season, as the Eagles also released a video of the guy lifting at the NovaCare complex, where we saw a lot of the stars on the team moving some heavy weight around, and that includes Jalen Carter, Bryce Huff, Josh Sweat, Jordan Davis, and Jordan Mailata, just to name a few. And then, of course, you got Jalen Hurts putting his strength on display on the squat rack, only to be outshined by Saquon Barkley. I mean, oh my gosh, dude, like, I'm not even trying to be, like, weird or anything, but just look at that. That does not even look real. And then perhaps the best part of this whole clip is Jalen Hurts looking so proud in the background. I mean, safe to say that the tush push or brotherly shove is not going anywhere with these two. But speaking of Saquon, we actually just had the mastermind behind this whole thing and Howie Roseman come out and comment on his decision to sign the superstar running back, and what he said was very interesting. As if you'll remember, back to when the Saquon signing happened, it kind of caught some people by surprise, because the general belief was that the Eagles just don't really care too much about the running back position, and they would never pay big bucks for a high-end one. But of course, Howie proved that wrong by going against the grain and signing Barkley to a 3-year, $37 million contract, and just over the weekend, he explained his thought process with that decision, as well as just the Eagles' overall strategy to Adam Shine of Mad Dog Sports Radio.
You know, from our perspective, you get to a situation where you kind of try to find, is something kind of being undervalued? Is there a way to zig when everyone's zagging? Or I don't know if it's the opposite and you're freaking zagging when zigging. But you know, and I think that it's hard to find difference-making players and people, and it's hard to find them for kind of, you know, a cost. You know, those guys, they go for a lot of money, and we felt like there was an opportunity there to get one of those guys in Saquon and bring him to the team. And, you know, we understand that, you know, there's risk in every decision you make, but we don't think there's any risk on the talent. We don't think there's any risk on the person. And we also feel like, you know, maybe not that it wasn't anywhere else, but maybe we have a good situation here with us in Philly to kind of maximize him and you know, kind of get him back to, because really I don't think there was anyone when he came out of the draft that didn't think that he wasn't a Hall of Fame caliber talent and person. And so he's still young, and we're really excited to have him.
No, I don't think there's really any question as to whether or not Saquon's going to work out in Philly, just assuming he stays healthy. Like, as long as he's on the field, he's going to take this Eagles offense to the next level. We know that. And I also think, to Howie's point is zigging when everyone else is zagging, the Eagles are potentially doing a really smart thing here by trying to stay ahead of the curve. As you know, Howie said in the past, you don't just want to do what everyone else is doing, because that can lead to mediocrity. Instead, you have to take risks like this to put yourself in position to win Super Bowls. And when you look around the NFL landscape right now, the running back position is obviously being undervalued. So this was a perfect chance for the Eagles to go against the grain a little bit, stay ahead of the curve, and just get a fantastic player and leader. And I really do think that this is amazing, and it's going to work out in the end. And something else that I think is going to work out is the Eagles draft decisions, as I'm a pretty big fan of most of the picks that they made, and the ones in the first 2 rounds especially are pretty hard to to argue with, and that's pretty much been the general consensus around the NFL and amongst media and fans, with people listing the Eagles as one of the draft's big winners, largely because of those first couple picks, and that includes PFF's Dalton Wasserman, who said, quote, "There are draft steals every year, but Philadelphia selecting Mitchell and DeJean is highway robbery. These two players put the Eagles back in Super Bowl contention." Now, I obviously am going to agree with that, and it's just nice to hear the Eagles getting the respect that they deserve, but we obviously still got a long way to go before we get there, and for right now, it's just good for the rookies to get their feet wet a little bit and maybe learn from some of the older guys, which is exactly what the first rounder Quinyon Mitchell is looking to do with Darius Slay.
I want you to live next door to Slay. I want you to sleep next to Slay.
I know I might move in with him. Real talk. I'm finna test him now.
Sleep next to Slay. That's your guy.
I just love the fact that Mitchell seems really eager to learn, and the fact that Slay is a guy who Mitchell has a lot in common with as a player, to the point where even Mitchell has said in the past that he models his game after Slay, is just perfect. And I feel the exact same way about 6th round center Jalen McMahon and Jason Kelce, as even though this situation is a lot different, with there being a lot less hype surrounding McMahon because of where he was drafted, and also the fact that Kelce's no longer playing and he's retired, there's still definitely a lot of similarities between the two, and after meeting Jason, McMahon seems eager to learn from Kelce whenever he gets the opportunity.
First, he looked at me, he was like, undersized center. We have that in common, and just talked a little bit about football and the guys I'll be facing regularly in our division, and then just said, like, just make sure you're staying in the weight room, you can put good weight on you with your frame of your body. There's places to put weight on and good weight in that muscle, and just wish me good luck. And it was like I said, it was pretty surreal meeting him, and he just said he hopes to be able to help me out in any ways he can, so that'd be pretty cool.
How often do you think you're going to take him up on it?
I don't want to bug him. I would do it every day if I could, but I mean, he's got his own stuff going around, and just he luckily gave me his number, so just if I ever have a question or anything, that I might just hit him up, and if he doesn't reply, because I know he's got a lot of stuff going on, then hopefully he will eventually, but as much as I can without bugging him, for sure.
So I'm just glad to hear that Kelce's still willing to help out the younger guys, even if he isn't playing anymore, although to be fair, are we really surprised by that? And in regards to McMahon, I actually do really like the fact that the Eagles got a player like him where they did, as he's going to be much needed depth at center behind Cam Jurgens, who was hurt at times last year, so hopefully not, but maybe McMahon actually ends up seeing some action this year. And staying on the topic of the rookies, rookie minicamp is now officially over, and we had a ton of information come out of it. And perhaps the most unexpected piece of info that we got is that the Eagles signed the undrafted Australian native Laiken Vakalhi to a contract. And truth be told, we really don't know much about him other than the fact that he's, for one, a massive human being at 6'5" and 318 pounds, plus he has 35-inch arms with an 83-inch wingspan, so that's pretty impressive. And this is a guy who has never actually played football before, as just like Jordan Mailata, he's a former rugby player who's from Australia, and recently he's actually been completing his mission service for the past couple years, spreading his faith for his church. But then one day in 2022, his father, who's a big man himself, happened to run into a scout for the Eagles while they were in Hawaii, and from there things progressed. The Eagles sent scouts out to work out Laiken in New Zealand, and now here we are with Laiken signing with Philly and getting the chance to develop and learn behind somebody with a very similar story in star tackle Jordan Mailata. And Mailata has apparently already taken him under his wing, so all that's just pretty insane. This is just a crazy story, and it's going to be a really interesting situation to monitor as we get to OTAs and training camp and just moving forward, so I'll keep you guys posted on that. But moving on, Mailata isn't just mentoring Vakalhi, he's actually looking to help all the other young guys that he can, judging by the fact that along with AJ Brown, he too was at Eagles rookie minicamp, and Nick Sirianni actually spoke to that, and he outlined just how special it is to have guys like that as leaders in the locker room.
What was really cool in my mind was that AJ was out there today and that Jordan Mailata was out there today. AJ giving up coaching points. Jordan Mailata was, I got in here this morning, he was in here for the team meeting, and then he went to the O-line meeting this morning just to be there with those guys. I mean, that's special, right? That's a connection that these guys are willing to put that time in to be around our rookies, see what they're made of, and just be there for them. And so I'm excited for these guys to all get immersed into the culture, and it was cool to see our veterans do that today.
I really do think Sirianni is spot on here, and Philly is just so lucky to have guys like this who are willing to step up as leaders, especially now that Kelce and Fletcher gone. And also, I just really think it speaks volumes about the organization and the culture that the Eagles have built. But moving on to something else that Nick Sirianni said during rookie minicamp, everybody was of course really eager to hear about Quinyon Mitchell and find out how he looked during camp, and based on Sirianni's comments, it sounds like in limited reps, Mitchell has already been pretty impressive.
You know, again, we had limited reps today. I get to see him go through drills. You saw the burst and the quickness that we saw on tape of why we drafted him in the first round. Made a couple nice plays on the ball today. Out there with some 7-on-7 speed. And so, just excited to see him out there on the field and competing. And, yeah, I mean, again, limited reps today, but, you did see the quickness and the burst and the acceleration.
I mean, there's really no surprise here, and it's just awesome to hear that Mitchell looked good out there during rookie minicamp. And right there with him is Cooper DeJean, who we also heard good things about during minicamp, and perhaps one of the more intriguing and exciting things regarding him is that it seems like the Eagles are already experimenting using him in a variety of different ways, whether that be outside cornerback, inside cornerback, or safety, as he himself said that he played in multiple spots during his first practice, so it sounds like the Eagles are not going to be afraid to put him in different positions, and I love it. And something else that I like is that it's pretty much been confirmed at this point that the 6'6" monster wide receiver Johnny Wilson will be staying a wide receiver, as after a little bit of speculation that the Birds could move him to tight end, despite Nick Sirianni and Howie Roseman pushing back on it, Wilson himself made it just about as official as it can possibly be, as he said, quote, "I play receiver. A lot of people have opinions on what I should be. I'm on this team. I play for the Eagles. There's been no talk for me being a tight end." So I love that because, again, Wilson can just be a matchup nightmare for smaller DBs due to his height, and he's also got the speed to play the wide receiver position. So I really do think that this is the right move to keep him at receiver. And then moving on, we also had some really pretty awesome comments from Eagles 5th round rookie Trevor Keegan, as he was asked about his collar that he wears during games, and he said, quote, "It's not for looks, it's just stingers, it's protection because I like hitting people." So that's definitely the mentality you want from your offensive lineman, and really, the more time that goes by, the more I love this Keegan pick. I mean, this is a guy who was started at the guard position for 3 years and been very, very effective at it. I mean, just last year, Keegan had 0 penalties and 0 sacks allowed while starting every game for Michigan, who of course went on to win the national championship. And he's also played against the best competition and played at a very high level. He's become a leader, and he just has the look of a really good NFL offensive lineman. So I know Tyler Steen is the clear favorite, but he doesn't have the experience playing the guard position that Keegan does, so maybe there's a chance that Trevor can beat out Tyler for the starting right guard job. I mean, I still personally think that Steen is probably going to get it, but I would not rule Keegan out, is all I'm going to say. But you guys can let me know what you think down in the comments. What are your opinions on that, or just anything else that I talked about in this video? And also, while you're at it, make sure you subscribe, and also really, really importantly, turn on notifications so you're notified instantly when any other Eagles videos just like this are uploaded. And also, while you're at it, make sure you drop a like to show some support. I'd greatly appreciate it. And you can watch another Eagles video going more in depth in the Eagles rookie minicamp, as well as some other Eagles news right here. And now with all that being said, that's pretty much all I got for this one, guys. So thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.